Hello, it's a beautiful Sunday evening, day number 7 in the month of January 2024. It is the Constitution Day edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and is sponsored by the Ghana Regional Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered, like I said, by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. We are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. We are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you, and you know the drill. All you have to do is sit back, relax, and grab your phones and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559019177. 0559019177. Now, when the time is ripe, and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, let me thank you,
That's it.
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Fill up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GWEL.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GWEL Super XP Raw 95. GWEL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, We connect. You thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders gave hard course to hold the maiden edition of the Corporate Heads and Awards Night. The Ghana Regional Authority also says it has exceeded its 2023 revenue targets, plus the fact that the ports of Tema and Accra also have beefed up security by recruiting and training some security personnel. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
The Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Alhaji Seidu Idrisu Idisa, has announced that the Ghana Revenue Authority achieved its revenue target of 109 billion Ghana cedis. He also revealed that despite a year characterized by decreased volumes of imports, the Customs Division of GRA were only short of its revenue target by 1.2 billion.
We all know this year, for those of us in international trade, this year was a very challenging year we had. All the targeted volumes of trade were not met. The volumes of goods that came to Tema was less than what was expected. But I'm so happy even you have given some awards to those in charge of enforcement. Because of the enforcement measures we did, we were able to get in Tema here 24.4 billion out of that. And generally speaking, GRA was able to achieve the national target of 109 billion.
The Commissioner of Customs was speaking during an awards parade organized by the management of the Tema Collection of Customs to award hardworking staff for their tremendous efforts in the year 2023. Held at the Authority block at the MPS Terminal 3, the vibrant parade saw permanent and contract, operational and administrative staff of various units of the Tema collection, as well as some exceptional taxpayers, presented citations and gift items. The Sector Commissioner of the Tema Collection of Customs, Christiana Odieje, acknowledged the difficulties in mobilizing revenue for the year 2023. She urged her staff to give off their best in the discharge of their duties in the year 2024 towards national development.
Though this year was very challenging as far as revenue mobilization was concerned, we have made a significant milestone. We have worked very hard. Sometimes we had to go overboard to stay behind to make sure that we were able to mop up the revenue that we needed so much for the year.
The Tema branch of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders has held its maiden corporate head soiree and awards night in Tema to reward some individuals and organizations for their immense contribution to the port and shipping industry. Some of the awardees included the General Manager of Marketing and Corporate Affairs at GPHA, Esther Jibidonko, who won the Outstanding Corporate Support Award. Icon of the Year female category went to Christiana Odieje. The Tema Sector Commander of Customs, Emmanuel Gilbert Ohene, won the Icon of the Year male category. Special Industry Recognition Awards also went to Abna Sawa Opokufosu, the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema, as well as Rosemary Pakahado and Esther Amekuji of the Customs Division of GRA. Industry Professional of the Year went to Dr. Desmond Bugbila, and Supply Chain and Logistics Reform Award went to William Abraham Texan. Technology Partner of the Year award went to Ghana Link Network Services. Safety Excellence Award went to Meridian Port Services. The Government Relations Achievement Award went to GRA Tema Collection. Optimal Cargo Release Efficiency Award was grabbed by Maersk Ghana Limited, and Upstream Logistics Provider of the Year went to Consolidated Shipping Agencies. Two of the awardees spoke to Iron Port.
This recognition is dedicated to the entire team that assisted in the rollout of the icons and continues to offer support in ensuring that the project continues to work to optimum capacity.
I feel really thankful to God first, and then to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, because they are our clients. We work together. When they are in business, Customs and GRA is also in business. So we've worked very closely throughout the year. So I believe that they know what both of us have achieved. And I dedicate the award I was given not only to GRA, but to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and to all the stakeholders.
Johnny Mante is the chairman of the Tema branch of GIF.
We have discovered that most of our guys are bending back and over, doing extremely well. Again, we've recognized that there are synergies between our members. Formerly, you would hardly find a member telling another member to help out in a certain business, but now we collaborate and we work. We've also recognized that most of our members are doing serious business, going around the world to bring business into town. This award is just a testament of what members have already been doing over the years and do not get any recognition for it.
Worldwide, maritime trade and cargoes are increasingly being targeted by organized criminal conspiracies and individuals involved in smuggling, cargo theft, and terrorism. This has made the safety and security of port property and workers even more crucial. This is why the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority invests yearly in its security, which includes an able workforce. This year, 149 personnel recruited by the Port Authority in Tema have successfully passed out after 6 weeks of intense and rigorous training at the 1st Battalion of Infantry at Michel Camp. This is the first time GPHA has entered a partnership with this particular military camp for the training of security staff. The new recruits underwent endurance and strength training, swimming courses, access control and searches, checkpoint duties, and report writing, among others, in a bid to transform them into disciplined, physically fit, mentally alert, and competent members of the security department of the port. During the passing out ceremony, the director of the Port of Tema, Sandra Opoku, handed performers among the new recruits. She indicated that so far as maritime threats exist, security will remain an essential part of port operations.
After today's graduation ceremony, you'll be assigned to serve the port in different roles. You must serve with honor, dignity, courage, and integrity, and show allegiance to what is right and conform to the authority's code of conduct. If you live by this commitment, you will have a great future in GPHA.
Similarly, in Accra, 115 security personnel recruited by the Port Authority have graduated 6 weeks of intense training at the Western Naval Command. The recruits undertook voice procedure, drills, port security, map reading, swimming, unarmed combat, leadership, first aid, firefighting tactics, rules of engagement, guard duties, weapon training, intelligence gathering, and physical fitness. This makes it the third batch of port security personnel to be trained at the naval base in Sekondi. The director of Port Takrade, Peter Mubediakon, had this to say about the successful training of recruits during the pass-out ceremony.
My dear recruits, the federal ports and relevance of your training that you have undergone here cannot be overemphasized. We brought you here to be trained to give you a taste of the standard military ways of comporting, carrying yourself well with confidence and integrity in the performance of their role as the port security staff.
Flag officer commanding at the Western Naval Command, Commodore Emmanuel Ayensu Kwafo, expressed his outfit's pleasure to help train personnel towards securing the premier port of Ghana.
The collaboration is evidence of the nature of the maritime environment, which requires interagency cooperation. The maritime environment is such that many state agencies have various competencies which we must all put together in the interest of the nation. Therefore, collaboration such as this is the only way out.
Commanding officer for the training, Commodore Boateng, added on to that. 4 recruits won awards for distinguishing themselves in various aspects of the training.
Most of the recruits were sharp and were able to adequately grasp all aspects of the training quickly to pass their final exams. Despite the rigorous nature of the training, the recruits were willing to apply themselves and learn. Their general response and reaction to all aspects of the training was good. I must say that the support from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority human resource team was very encouraging.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. It's now time for the word of phrase of the day. And remember, the word of phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is deconsolidation point. Deconsolidation point.
The consolidation point, a place where cargo is en route for delivery.
All right, so welcome back. We are now zooming into a discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at 2023 in retrospect, some of the major things that happened in 2023 by way of policy, by way of government strategies and all that, and how that impacted trade, across West Africa and in Ghana, and how the prospects for 2024 looks like. How does it stand? What are some of the things that we should be expecting as far as 2024 is concerned in terms of trade and all that? And so tonight, that's what we're doing. With us in the studios to do this is Mr. Apia Kusi Adumaku, who is the West Africa Director, Regional Director for CATS International Accra. West Africa Regional Director, CATS International Accra. Good evening, sir, and welcome. And Happy New Year. Is that what you were going to say? I got it. Your microphone is off, I guess. I'm told, okay. Yes. Right. So once again, let me say welcome and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and your viewers of Metro TV Worldwide.
Awesome. Right, so first of all, I would want you to tell us what CATS International, that's Ghana's assessment of 2023 has been.
Okay, so 2023 began with the hangover from 2022. 2022 saw one of the worst economic crises that Ghana has ever had over the past many years. The cedi began with some relative stability at the beginning of the year, and we saw it a bit stable. But we cannot talk about Ghana without talking about worldwide.
Right.
The US dollar continued to gain weight, and then we also saw the rising inflation in the Eurozone and also in the US. And whenever these two major economies suffer, whenever they cough, we also catch the cold.
Absolutely.
And so we saw rising prices of goods and services. Our CPI, even in Ghana, we've seen how the inflation rate has been going up. Of course, last year, we've seen some relative stability on that.
Right.
And also the geopolitical tension, the war in Ukraine and Russia has also been impacting upon goods and services. And currently, the war between the Israelis and the Palestinians, the Hamas war, is also kind of affecting us. But I'm very hopeful that things will be better. But if we also want us to zoom into Ghana, as when the minister presented presented a 2024 budget,
yes.
The overall GDP growth was 1.5, which is still not the best as for a developing country. End of year inflation was also pegged as 31.3%. This means that no bank in Ghana can lend below 31.3%. The primary support is also 2.60.
Right.
And one thing, which is also important for us as eye on the pot, is that our current import cover is 0.8 months. It means that the amount of reserve that we have at the Bank of Ghana cannot even support our import of goods and services for a month.
Right.
And that tells how the the crisis we find ourselves in. The minister came around saying that things have started to turn on the corner. But for me, I don't see it as it is. We still have a long way to go to be able to turn the corner.
Now, I do recall vividly that in 2023, most of the time, you find people perhaps taking a go or dig at government because government says it's as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war that things perhaps have been a bit hard for the generality of the Ghanaian people. That's how come the economy perhaps slowed down a bit and all that. Can you tell us, as an international trade expert, how these things work? How, the war in another country can affect, our economy?
Okay. So no country lives in an island, though every country is politically sovereign. When it comes to economic sovereignty, your sovereignty is interlinked to the economy of one country. Let's take, for example, the war in Ukraine.
Yes.
The war in Ukraine started with U.S. and the EU saying that they were not going to buy Russian crude. That means that there's now a supply shortage, and that caused the price of crude oil to jump up.
Yeah.
Means we may have to pay more for our crude import.
Absolutely.
It also meant that it's going to put a lot of pressure on the city. Because beginning of last year, I think they were spending about $150 million a month to import crude oil.
Right.
Along the end of the year, our monthly import bill was around $450 million. So what it means is that the dollar that would have been used to import other goods and services are now being used to import crude. So that is one direct how the war affected our crude and the city.
Right.
Number two, we also talk about fertilizer. Fertilizer is also produced in the Russia-Ukraine area, and fertilizer is used in the agri sector. Because of the war, supply chain in those areas got affected, and they could not come the way that we want.
Right.
Almighty wheat that you and we used to prepare, they used to make bread for us to eat. Ukraine is one of the largest producers of wheat.
Right.
And it means with the war, they could not produce the wheat as they should. They signed an agreement with Russia to allow the Ukraine export. Somewhere along the line, Russia decided to back out from the deal. That meant that the supply chain linkages on the thing is going to fall. The oil that we use to cook food, the soya oils, also a lot of them comes from Ukraine, Russia. And so all these things were coming to affect the economy. But because our economy is not well grounded, the little, seismic effect somewhere will feel it. Yes. And this tells us that as a country, we need to look at the fundamentals. Sometimes we also need to do what we call stress tests to see what are some of the variables, shocks that can affect you, and then you build your resilience. As of now, we don't have any resilience. It's like we are running the country without spare tire, moving the country without a spare tire. So anytime there's a little, even let's say Sudan fight war, Ghana will say there's a problem. But I think that we have to go beyond. Of course, these are rare, but then to what extent should we allow our country to be held hostage? Even those who are even in Ukraine may not be suffering the way that the war impacted on us last 2 years. But for us, I think that we need to be able to build a very strong economy, looking beyond the 4-year cycle of election and prepare that, look, should there be another COVID that should lead to the closure of international trade, Ghana will still be able to survive for 2 or 3 years. That is the way we need to look at.
Right. Awesome. All right. So I just wanted to find out from you whether there are any key pointers that you want to look at as far as 2023 is concerned. So what was on the highlights, of policies that perhaps came in that you thought that impacted one way or the other our economy?
Okay. So the domestic debt exchange and the haircut affected a lot of businesses. Some businesses invested their funds in the medium to long term, and the haircut meant the domestic debt exchange meant that they could not have access to their money when they needed them. And so that can also affect the investments that they need to make in the year. So that is something that we cannot forget about it. And also we saw on the side of AFCFTA, we've seen that a lot of progress have been made. The phase 2 protocols on competition, investment, and intellectual property rights have also been approved. And then government of Ghana also went to Parliament with an import restriction bill, which also received a severe backlash. We are told it has been withdrawn and that they want to bring it back. We'll see how it will portend. And I also want to say again that the Russia-Ukraine war is still having an effect on. Currently, our import bill of crude oil is still high.
Right.
And if it should go...
And that's as a result of that war?
Yes. Okay. If the crude oil prices should go to the pre-crisis level, there will be more dollars available for export.
Right.
And that will reduce, for import, that will reduce pressure on the city.
So that means that there was some element of substance in what government said, that it was as a result of the war in Ukraine and Russia, that some of these things happened.
Yes, but to the extent that it is true, it is a general fact. The war in Ukraine has affected a lot of things, but the extent that it has on the economy depends on how you manage your economy. That is one thing. So we can blame the war in Ukraine, but its effect and the extent, that one, how we manage our finances will determine the debt at which we will sink. And also, we can also say that last year saw businesses got a lot of relief from the apocalyptic event that happened in 2022. But last 2 years ago, it was getting bad. Prices level was just moving like what? Like nothing. And now today, at least you are guaranteed that the price you see today is more likely to remain at least the next week. 2022, it was not like that. And the Gaza war is also something that is still, there is the potential of the regionalization of the war. Turkey has sounded an alarm that if Israel doesn't stop the wanton destruction of the Gaza, they may enter the war. Iran is also, so we need to look at that.
Right. Okay, so let's come down to the supply chain and see how it fared. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, Russia, Ukraine, and all that definitely disrupted the supply chain in a way. Would you say that? And how did the supply chain fare globally in 2023? Okay,
so the supply chain last year continued from the point where it left off. The geopolitical conflict, the Russia-Ukraine, the China-US, the China-Taiwan, all these tensions are all affecting the supply chain. China has become the global manufacturing hub. And Southeast Asia is also a very good raw material market. For Africa, there is peace and stability here, so production of raw materials that are supposed to come from Africa are okay. But the supply chain is also related to even the movement of the logistics.
Right.
Towards the end of the last year, we saw the Houthi fire, the Red Sea and other side where people were firing missiles into ship. Now most of vessels are now being diverted to pass through the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
Through against the traditional path of the Suez Canal.
Right.
And all these things is affecting the supply chain, is reducing it's kind of what increasing the time that goods arrive for manufacturing. So that is one. Then the inflationary pressures is still affecting the cost of goods have gone up, and that also, for example, if let's say a 40-feet container was $5,000 of material, now you need to pay more to get because of the inflationary pressure. Then we will say that all this thing is leading to some form of a recessionary environment. Most economists in Ghana or in Europe, well, what's recession? Okay, maybe. Recession is the period of 3 quarterly GDP growth. When it goes down for 3 consecutive months, that is what we define as a recession. And we've seen in Europe and America where these figures are dipping downwards and pointing to what? A recession environment. When there's a recession, like the economic activity kind of slows down, employment goes down. And then we also talk about the issue of climate change. Because of the climate change issue, a lot of restrictions on business as to how much they can produce. Cap on trade, telling, so look, you can't do this. We've seen in Ghana, starting from 1st January, we are paying emission taxes. So all these things are going to increase the cost of our production. So globally, the war in Ukraine, inflationary pressures and recessionary environment, this can be seen as the major threat to supply chain worldwide.
All right, so do we expect to see a similar trend, perhaps, in 2024?
Yes, this is because the factors that militated against 2023 is still available. Russia has not decided to withdraw from Ukraine, and Israel just, was it Friday or so, Netanyahu said that the Israeli operation will still continue on throughout the year. We don't know how, and if other countries within the region enter the war, it becomes a regional war. That could, America and UK could also come in. That could be, potential escalation, and that could even be worse than what we are facing now. And so what we need to do is to avoid escalation of the war between Israel and Hamas. Now we've seen how the world has become polarized. Whether you are for America or you are against America. And Russia would find ways and means to support the other side because they've seen that US and Europe are supporting Ukraine to fight against them. And so they will also support any other side. It's like the Cold War scenario. And these things all may portend some challenges for the world economy. And we should embrace ourselves for the difficult days ahead. And Ghana, I don't know our resilience to be able to overcome these shocks. I mean, it just goes beyond praying to God for a better year. Of course, we all pray to God, but we must also put in the right measures to ensure that we are able to survive every tsunami.
Now, one thing that came up quite prominently in 2023 was the import restriction bill that was being introduced by government, which met some fierce resistance from some selected stakeholders, culminating in the eventual withdrawal by government. What were your thoughts initially when you heard about the import restriction bill and when government eventually, recoiled and withdrew it?
So I was not surprised about it. One thing I've seen and learned in this country is that everything, we do things on a knee-jerk reaction. Knee-jerk, like firefighting. Of course, as a country, we cannot import everything, and we should not import everything. There must be a line of demarcation between what we should import and what we should produce. So, but government, one of the mistakes that about this particular bill, even let's take away the substance of the restriction. We'll come to it. The whole idea of bringing a policy, an ally that's supposed to take immediate effect after its passage was very wrong. Because there are some businesses who have invested let's say they say they are going to ban some particular product. I may have invested in a cold chain warehouses, taking a loan with over 5 years to be able to pay this. So anytime you want to come up with such a policy, you need to scan the environment,
right,
and look at what will be the potential challenges for businesses who are importing those products. That is number one. Number two, this particular restriction, we didn't see earlier on. The finance minister had come to Parliament to read the budget.
Right.
We didn't see the Minister of Finance talking about it and see how government is going to support local industries to be able to overcome this, to be able to what? Scale up production. We didn't see even the Agri Ministry talking about all these things. So I think that the policy in itself was good, but its implementation it was wrong. And I'm happy that they have taken it back, and I know that it will still go back to Parliament. It will become an issue of numbers, and I bet you this will get passed because our Parliament, I mean, is a duopoly. I mean, it's a binary, yes or no. But so far as the yes exceeds the no, the bill will still get passed. So let's talk about that.
Could it not be that they had worked the details out and the fine details out, and we're just waiting for the general acceptance by the trading community or the stakeholders involved, so that they could now perhaps show them that, okay, this is the roadmap for a smooth implementation of this particular policy?
I don't believe that they have done any extensive study. I'm also part of the trade industry, trade economy,
right,
where we follow all that are happening in the industry. And even the best practice is that you come and say that, oh, from 2020, let's say 2027, government of Ghana will place a ban on importation of some commodities. So these are measures that we are going to do. We have identified X number of companies that are already doing this product in small scale. We are going to invest in them. We are going to give them soft loans. We are going to help them to retool. We are also invited foreign companies to come and set up those companies here so that they'll be able to produce for the local market and even export to other markets. Once you start with this medium to long-term measures, a time will come that even the market will even correct itself. You see, most of these things, if the market solutions, I say, are always the best one. If the local manufacturers are able to produce at quality and also produce in quantity at good prices, nobody would worry to import those products from Europe or America. For example, now people are no longer importing tires into the country because the local companies are doing well. Now you don't need to go and buy dollars to import tires into the country. So the market is correcting some of these things. So let's start with the market approach, whereby we invest in some companies, give them target. Gradually, once they're able to do better and their cost is better than the imported one, the imported one, those who are importing will stop and they will become distributors for those who are producing. But it appears that we woke up one morning and they prepared an airline, it went to Parliament and then it went back. You know, this is not the first time we've seen this import restriction. In 2016, there was also another import restriction bill on cement. And it was supposed to, the local cement companies told government that they had a installed capacity for cement, so there was no need to allow for cement import. However, whilst we were asleep, the then Minister of Trade allowed for an import of cement into the country. And one of the challenges about this thing is that if you need to import a product which has been put on a restriction list, you need to get a license. And that license can also open up to corruption. And we have to avoid all these things. For me, we live in a free market economy. If we allow the market to work effectively and efficiently, most of these things can be corrected.
So the import restriction bill, there were some cogent arguments advanced by government for which reason they were going to introduce that. Now, some concerns were that there was a committee, and no, they said the minister it was going to be at the behest of the minister, whose discretion would be used in the as it were award of some of these quotas, if I may use that word. The percentage of items you are supposed to import into the country premised on the kind of item you are bringing in and all that. And others, the government also argued at the time that it was not the minister, there was going to be a committee in place to take charge of this particular, policy. Now, the given back and forth, and all that, kind of like made it look like, okay, no matter what, no matter which way it went, there was still the element of corruption, for which reason it shouldn't happen. But there were others who also thought that this was a well thought out policy, if implemented, could help, the local industry. Don't you agree?
Yes, I mean, as I said earlier on, we don't need to import everything.
Right.
There are some products, and whenever you import products into the country, you are killing jobs. For example, this is a Belacqua, it's produced in Ghana here. Imagine if Belacqua was imported from UK or US into Ghana. All those who are working for Belacqua, the company will be closed down in Ghana here. So local production is the way forward.
Right.
No one contends with that. However, if you want to do import restriction, you need to make sure that your local economy is functioning.
Right.
Inflation is 33% or so. That means that the lowest you can get to borrow from the market will be more than 33%.
Absolutely.
We need to work towards all of these things to allow the business community to be able to expand. And that argument didn't come from that particular support. Didn't come from the Ministry of Finance. I mean, we didn't see that thing in the budget that, look, we're going to invest, let's say, $100 million in this industry. That if we invest $100 million in this industry, we are going to reduce our import by, let's say, $400 million in the year on year, and then also create some jobs. We wanted to see the role of the government fiscal policy in this particular measure, but we didn't see all these things.
Right.
And let me tell you about the role of the minister. I talk about the cement issue. The cement issue had a committee. The committee made a recommendation that there was no need for a cement, that application for the import of the cement to come. But the Minister of Trade that time gave the license authorization for those quantities to be imported into the country.
Right.
This is a classical case study. And if we don't take care, we may be revisiting the issue. And whatever amount of money that an importer pays unofficially to acquire a license will be put on the cost of the product. So eventually the consumers are going to pay for the cost of those things.
Yes.
But Kennedy, I'm not saying that I'm against the import restriction. Let us do it well in a way that it will help the economy, that to also help businesses and consumers. There are lots of things that were in the list that I agree that we don't need to import them.
Yes.
Like these offers, what they call the towels, those offers.
Yes.
Yes. Those products, why? Pork feet and those kind of things. Now we are doing well with our poultry, with our piggery industry. But we also need to do a study to look at the total quantity that we demand in the country and the total quantity that we are able to produce, and then gradually work in a way. And also, one of the problems we have is that sometimes importation also puts a competitive check on domestic producers.
Right.
Ghanaian businesses are fond of making, high margins. That is why they are unable to compete with the Nigerians in the market. That is why you see Guta is always fighting with the Nigerian traders. When you leave market And when you leave the market, I mean, producers or from, and you prevent importation, those who are already in the market, they are more likely to talk among themselves and increase prices. Let me give you this example. In the bedding industry, the mattress that you and I will sleep on at home, it used to be manufactured by two companies, Latest Foam and Ash Foam. Their price being so high until recently we saw some companies coming into the market to also produce and then they have started to bring their prices
down.
So
competition has forced them
competition. So everything that we do, we need to look at efficiency and also economic stability of the country. All these things, there must be a trade-off. But the trade-off should also be very efficient for the country going forward in the long run.
And so, in one word, would you say? Let me ask the question: is Ghana ready for an import restriction?
It is. The question is very short, but it is not necessarily. It's not a question of
whether we are ready or not.
Ready or not ready. Do you get it? I think the question we should ask ourselves is that what kind of products do we have in the country that we think that we should not, we have enough capacity that we should not import? And what type of products that we don't have them in enough capacity, but we can work towards self-sufficiency. And I think that should be the question of what upscaling our production might, so that there will not be, you see, like I mentioned to you about the tires. Nobody is importing tires again. Only few people, because now the local companies are doing very well. And we shouldn't put the cart before the horse. There are certain things that we need to do as a country. We shouldn't jump and say, look, let's put an import restriction. Of course, we know that when we do that, we'll save the cedi. Yes, that is good. But once you save the cedi, if you don't take care, you don't have enough quantity in the market, the prices are going to go up. And it's also going to increase inflation and cause reduced consumer welfare. So you make a progress by getting more forex, but then you are still having to grapple with high inflation and high prices of some goods and services. So then why then is the rush to do it as if the world is ending next year? I think we need to do more and think through well. I was very surprised. I mean, most of these things, we have a lot of trade economists here. But it appears that the ministry, the government is in a hurry. I mean, in the U.S. like this, there could have been a congressional hearing. They will get a lot of various professors to come, and then those who agree, those who don't agree, they listen to them, and then after that, the Congress
debate sort of,
they debate, and then based upon that, they will be able to fine-tune their policy and then get it through. But here, it appears that government only wants to hear those who are singing with them on the same hymn book.
Now, at what point, in our economic life, can we say we are ready for import restrictions?
After independence, Nkrumah started with import domestic. He started a policy of making sure that Ghana is able to produce everything that we needed. So he set up the Bonsa tire factory. Last 2 weeks, I went to Takrade. Driving through Takrade Azim, I saw the tires, the company there. That is I forgot the name of the company. I think Ghana Rubber Estate Company Limited. So Nkrumah wanted these companies that he set up after independence to be able to produce things that we will use in the country. The Bonsa tire factory, the Bosso glass factory, everything that we needed. So if those companies, if it wasn't the city sales coup and the economic challenges that came before the city sales coup, if those things were not present, I'm sure that Ghana would not have imported tires. And Nkrumah saw the import substitution strategy. But that means he invested in those things that we need to have before you bring up an import restriction.
Right.
But it appears that we've not looked at that.
Right.
We need to look at it in a way so that we don't only help the few businesses who are producing to let them make huge profits so far as the restriction comes. But you must also think about the totality of the Ghanaian consumers, because if you don't have enough of these products in the economy and you start to put restriction on them, you are going to cause consumers to pay more for those goods and services.
Right, okay. Sure. This is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're taking a look at 2023 in retrospect and the prospects for 2024 and what the way forward should be for us as far as the trade arena is concerned. With us in the studios is Mr. Pierre Kusi-Admako, who is Director, West Africa Region, that's CATS International Ghana. And we're having a discussion with him. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please do stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for that.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene,
sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. This is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at 2023 in retrospect and the prospects for 2024. And we're having some perspectives from CATS International Ghana. With us in the studios, the West Africa Regional Director for CATS International Ghana, Mr. Pierre Kusi Adumako. He's the one we're having a discussion with. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in. Remember, the number to dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. Right here on the screen, you can call in and then contribute to the discussion. But let me come to you and find out, Mr. Adumako, what your projections for the prospects for, I beg your pardon, for 2024 is. Your microphone. Great.
Barring any uncertainties,
yes.
Because in 2019, at the end of the year, we were very hopeful that 2020 will be good. And suddenly, COVID came and then it turned everything upside down.
Right.
But we are very hopeful for 2024. The U.S. Federal Reserve, the Fed, is more likely to cut interest rate. Once it cuts interest rate, one thing is that a lot of countries, business are taking all their dollars to U.S. because of the high interest rate there.
Right.
Once U.S. cuts the interest, U.S. will no longer be a preferred destination for investment. So most of these people who have got dollars would rather want to come to emerging economies like Ghana.
Right.
And so, in 2022, the cedi was stable until the U.S. also decided to start to increase its interest rate.
Right.
So people were moving all their investment from emerging economies, and Ghana was suffering a lot because every day investors were withdrawing their investment from Ghana.
Right.
And whenever they withdraw the investment, in cedis, they convert to dollars, so a lot of pressure. This year, we expect the government to reduce the inflation. So most like interest rate.
Yes.
What most likely is that we are going to have a lot of dollars will start coming in into emerging economies, and Ghana could benefit. And that could also lead to the relative stability or strengthening of the cedi against the dollar. That is one. And we also expect some relative stability of the cedi. On Monday, tomorrow, Ghana is meeting its external creditors for external debt exchange.
Yes.
We hope that there will be a very good deal. Once they are able to agree on a good deal for us, we will end up getting the $600 million. But the president said that we hope to get $1.6 million by end of May or so. That is one.
Right. Okay, that is one. So you come with the second one, but let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Ken, who's calling us from Accra. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. How are you, sir?
Right. King, yes.
Thank
Great.
you for organizing this program for us. God bless you all.
Right.
And your teams.
Thank you.
This evening I've been following, just now that I start following some few minutes ago. But what I hear from your guests, is very impressive. And some of them are good, some of them too are very touching. Ghana, we are having some problems in Ghana that always have been saying as youth in Ghana. We are having a lot of problems. Number one, you mentioned about cement or production companies in Ghana. Production companies in Ghana, we are not ready to be in a competent, good marketers in Ghana here to the product that they are trying to produce. We want to make it easier for the buyers to buy from us, from the outsiders, other countries, the neighboring countries to troop in, to buy it from us.
Right.
For example, cement, gypsum, our own hills and the mountains that they are breaking to do that and using chemicals to do it, quarry dust and then stones. As of the price of those things now in Ghana, it's very, very expensive. Can't go to start See, I've witnessed this. If I doesn't see something, I don't talk about it. Dangote take Ghanaians drivers. They will go to Nigeria all the way to go and bring cement. The price is low, down. But Gassam here, they say that employment. Dangote if you go to his factory, is it not employing Nigerians? They employ a lot of people there. He is paying them well. How much we Ghanaians always, if you want to say we want to employ people, then this is the time that even the price, we can't afford the thing. We have to go all the way to go and import the thing. Even when they import the thing to the country, the price is less than the one that they are producing in our country. Always the quality, when you check the quality, even the outside, the quality is there than the one that they are talking about. And our ministers, MPs, and the port authorities, what they do is that they punish the importers instead of the people who produce the things in Ghana here to make this thing hard for the importers. Because when the price is low, you can't go and change dollar and say I'm going to bring this, because when you bring it, you can't make any profit. It's not the importers, it's not the government. It's these people that are making this thing very tough for them. You see, always Ghanaians are complaining in the market. The Nigerians have taken my this thing, so they have taken the business from us. Not so. What are they doing? They go and bring the thing from their country. The price is down. They are producing the thing there. They will bring it. Still Ghanaians are there. When they buy the thing, instead of 1 cedi, they say 3 cedis. 3 cedis. The buyers will come in. They will go for foreigners and go and get it 2 cedi, 1 cedi 50 pesos. They will go and they'll still be there watching. The next thing is that they'll come on that people and start talking. And the big men are here. Some of the things they have to check it. And pure water, common pure water that they are producing in Ghana here, how much it is? When you go to other countries, common Togo, just Togo here. If you go to Accra, you will see how much are they selling cement back in Togo just here. Even iron rod. Now iron rod that they say 16 mm. It's not up to 16 mm. It's 14 point something. But the price, you can't buy it. Whereby when you go to Togo now and go to buy those things, the price is affordable. People are trying to build it. But Ghana here, always. How this, even people are going to import these things and come. You will see that there is a difference. Only the port, Ghana Harbour authorities that will punish the person, that will pay more duty, that the person will come in, he can't sell the thing. What are we doing in this country? No matter what they do, if this thing doesn't, the citizen in Ghana who have the money, who bring the foreigners, our big men, doesn't change their attitude for punishing the citizen, highing the price that is supposed not to be high. They can't get it easy.
Thank you very much, King. Thank you very much indeed. We are deeply grateful to you for a call. Very cogent argument there. We believe the powers that be are listening, and then we'll make amends. Thank you so much. You can also call. The number to dial is right here on your screen, 020-552-8353. You can call in and then contribute to the discussion. Mr. Adamako, you were about giving us your second point when the call came through.
Okay. This year is also an election year for Ghana.
Yes.
And see how a lot of spending, because incumbents want to win election at all costs.
Yes.
And we've seen it in 2000, 2004, 8,
12,
and 12 as
16,
well, 16. And if we don't take care, we may have a lot of fiscal slippages. And that could also be a problem for us. And we know we have this law in our statutes book, the Fiscal Responsibility Act. That limits the government as to how
spending,
much they can spend.
Yes.
And during the COVID time, the Ministry of Finance went to Parliament to seek for suspension of that act.
Yes.
And we hope that we are able to keep within our fiscal space so that we don't bring untold hardship to Ghanaians after the election.
Yeah.
And election comes with lots of campaign promises. And 2016 election was promises galore. And now we've seen it coming. I think politicians must campaign devoid of promises that would wreck the foundations of the economy. we like to give free things, and the free things that we give, we deprive other sectors of funds that they need to grow. Developing countries like Ghana can't afford to be doing things for free.
Right.
At least let people pay for things that they can afford, and only give things that they can't afford.
Yes.
The war in Ukraine and the Middle East war is also likely to escalate.
Middle East war likely to escalate. Let's hold it there. One, can we continue from there?
Yes.
But we have Ishmael who's calling us all the way from Takwa. Good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening, boss.
Yes, sir. Please shoot.
I want to comment about what you are discussing.
Thank you. We are grateful, sir.
Thank you. We are here in Ghana, and we always talk about foreigners who come and sell things at Ghana here. The foreigners' things are cheap other than we Ghanaians here. Right now, you can't buy even one bag of cement. Once Dangote is too low, that is too high. But the content are the same. I don't understand the reason why we citizens are suffering from our own country, whilst foreigners are living better than us.
Right.
Please, if they can do something about that so that we citizens can feel better in our own country. Right now, we can't travel from Ghana to different countries. Here is our hometown. We live here and die here. So if our leaders can help us so that we too can help other people. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Ishmael, calling us all the way from Takwa. We're grateful to you for a call. You can also call, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353, right on your screen. You can call and contribute to the discussion. Yes.
Okay, so the war in the Ukraine,
yes.
the war in Gaza, these things should be something that we should keep our eyes on. And this is the time that, as a country, we need to prepare against the possible odds. But most of the times, we wait till the hazard comes, and then we come and tell Ghanaians that due to this. But I think that we can do better than that.
Right.
And also, 2024, we've seen a lot of taxes. Ghanaians are going to pay more taxes. Now, if you have, and I'm sure we should know that we are paying VAT on, if you are doing distance learning in Ghana, for example, you pay VAT on the tuition that you are paying to the schools. A lot of taxes. And unfortunately, we'll still pay. Of course, I mean, paying taxes is the best thing that we need to. Because taxes,
our country,
it is a subscription. Tax is a subscription we pay to live in a civilized economy.
Right.
And so if we are not paying taxes, it means our country will not grow.
Right.
Yes. But if all your taxes are being paid, that you are paying, are being used to service debt, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so we should look at, we should be moving away from debt servicing toward productivity and the structural transformation of the economy. So 2024 will still see a lot of the taxpayers' money being used to service debt. Yes. And then election again, 2024 elections too, is also going to be increased. I talk about it, increased spending.
Absolutely.
Yes, and there will be winners and losers. Business will get more money from government.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they will create a deficit, and then the following year, 2025, taxes will need to go up to what? Clear all these things.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we find ourselves in this crisis, this cycle every 4 years. But there's one thing that I want to talk about.
One thing that you want to talk about, you talk about it after we've spoken to George from Medina.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please shoot.
What the man is sitting, I think, is saying the right thing. But what we need to do in the country is we are being paying taxes over taxes, and we don't see what they are using the money to do. Understand?
Right.
And every year they are using taxes, we are paying taxes. But the same tax, they will say, oh, they use the tax money to pay this, pay that. This is why that if they mention it, every time they will mention like increase of taxes, we find it difficult to pay it. Because we are seeing that they are taking the money from us, and we are not seeing what they are using the money to do. After that, they will go and borrow money and say they borrow money, and who are going to pay the money? We are going to pay the money. And also, we are not seeing what they are using those money that they are borrowing to do. Meaning we are just paying money for nothing. How can the country grow if we are going like this? Give everything to the foreigners. When the foreigners come here, they do their business, they take the money from the country. But when you are a Ghanaian, wanted to establish your own business here, you find it difficult. You see? So these things that is going on, when the youth arise, or when people arise, they don't understand. That is where misunderstandings happen.
Right.
This is what is happening in other countries. Our neighbors, this is what is happening. Because people are being paid money and they are not seeing the cost of the money that they are paying.
Right, George.
So if any government is coming on power, or government on power is seeing all these things, they have to start doing something about it. The masses are suffering. The masses are suffering. It's like they are not, but they are suffering. This is my contributor I wanted to add.
Thank you very much indeed, George, all the way from Medina. We're grateful to you for your call. We can still take a few calls, one or two, and the number to dial is right here on the screen, 020-552-8353. Yes, Mr. Adumako.
So
yes.
There's one conversation that we are not having as a country.
Which is?
We've seen our GDP increasing, but it appears that the indigenous share of the GDP is always going down. Of course, foreign direct investment is good,
right?
But we must also find ways and means to develop local champions. If you drive on the Spinters Road stretch, almost all the shops there are owned by foreigners. You go to the industrial areas, these are not anti-foreign sentiment. But what I'm saying is that we need to grow local champions. The reason is that when you have local champions, at the end of the year, when they make profit, they will not change their money into what? Dollars and take them away. Foreigners, after the end of the financial year, from January going, after they have done their account, they will transfer all their dividends, and that will put pressure on your CD. And that is something government we can also do to reduce the impact.
Right.
Let's find ways and means to jumpstart Ghanaian businesses, so that they can grow. Unfortunately, the banking sector. Go ahead.
Yes, we'll come back, and it's a very good point you're making. Let's go and welcome Kofi, who's calling us from Amasaman. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good. Please shoot, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, we are grateful for the discussion that you are making there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's a very good education that you are giving us here. Good evening.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm grateful for the discussion that you are making. God bless you for.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
But my little challenge is our leaders. Our leaders.
Yes.
They have to give us their best. Because when they are in opposition, things that they will say is different from what they did on coming to power. Because we youth are suffering. And I think that we are the future leaders. So we are pleading to our leaders to do things that it will help us in future. Because those leaders leading us, they are of age. So we are begging them that to leave some legacy for us to build on it. Because now Ghana here is difficult to get a 2 meals in there. It's difficult. No jobs. Even if you are starting small business that at least you can take care of your family, it's difficult for you to start it. And if you start it, the GRA and co, they will decide you and leave the foreigners. I have witnessed on my own eyes that Liberals and co, they are not paying taxes. That they won't harass them. But we in Ghanaians, that we have to develop our own country. If we are doing anything, all the money that we get, it will remain here.
Right.
At least if you can report, if you can employ 2-3 guys, at least you are reduce the unemployment. But the GRA and they will disturb you every day. I have a friend here, Amasama here. They put somebody on his shop to check his face. Then we have Lebanese here, we have foreigners. They are doing business from their own home. selling China doors, other things from their home. They are not paying absolutely nothing. And they are connected with the GRA people. I have my number. I can give you a lot of information.
That's
because I believe you people that if you have that information, you can save Ghana. But the GRA people, they are, if you call them, they will just show your face to the people that they will come and worry you. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you too, Kofi. Thank you very much. You called us all the way from Amasama. We're grateful. Yes, Mr. Adumako.
So what I was talking about
one conversation that we've not had.
Yes, and these things are not also even coming from the politicians. When we had opportunity,
the continuous fall of the share of the Ghanaians' GDP
in the economy.
Yes,
I mean, I think by now the Statistical Service should be giving us the data about the share of Ghanaian contribution in the GDP. Because when you have your industrial sector owned by foreigners,
right?
They manufacture, they sell, they make profit, repatriate their profit, and it put pressure on your city. We need to prop Ghanaian businesses, like how gradually we've been able to raise Jospon as a giant. Nigeria succeeded in growing Dangote, and so we need to also do that. When we had opportunity to clean the reform the financial sector,
yes,
succeeded in wiping away the indigenous banks away.
Yes.
And the foreign banks are the ones who are making all the money. And that is very bad. All the profit that they make are repatriated abroad.
The principals, yeah.
And that is very bad for a country like this. Meanwhile, Ghanaians are very industrious, but government political policies.
Right. Okay, so let's go and welcome from Sunyani, Kwesi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Also.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
My name is Mejina Kwesi.
Right.
From Sunyani.
Absolutely, yes.
Let us not blame only the leaders, but we should blame our own selves. First point is that are Ghana having systems that will take care of human interface in any activity that is carried out, whether it be in the private or government? If we have, why are the systems not functioning as elsewhere? This is the most important question we all have to ask ourselves. We have the systems, but everybody wants to certify him or herself first.
Yeah.
So then we abuse the system. If we have the systems and we let the system function the way it's supposed to be, we will not see people hiding behind, acting illegally, doing things to disadvantage the state.
Right.
Why can't you go to UK, America, and act illegality there?
Yeah.
The system is working 24/7. But here, weekends, some laws are not working.
Yeah.
People can jump into traffic and go away because it is weekend. Is that the same way in America, UK, and elsewhere? No. Right. You sitting there, if I can do some work, because I'm not closer to you, you not give me the space. But the system is there. The system has not asked you to do that. So we are our own enemies.
Right.
So I would advise we should rather strengthen the systems. Let the systems operate the way we want it to be.
Right.
And limit the human interface. When you go to what you call just going for a passport.
Yes.
You want somebody to be to lead you and jump the system.
The Guru boys, yeah. Right. Thank you very much, Kwesi. We are deeply grateful to you for your call. You've done very well. You called us all the way from Sunyani. We're deeply grateful to you. Unfortunately, that's the last caller. We cannot pick any more calls. You were making a point. If you can land, we'll take one or two messages and then we wrap up because
so
time is not our friend at this juncture.
2024 campaign, we need to look at how government policy. President Mahama has said that 24-hour economy, which is good. And we also need to see how we can support indigenous Ghanaians to be able to expand, take job overseas, and bring forests home. See how South Africans succeeded in bringing businesses here.
Yes.
Shoprite is wholly owned by South African nationals. All the profit that they make goes back to South Africa. They bring their products from South Africa and come and sell in your market. Ghana, we can use our national security and information, the state resources, not, money as per se, but we have our ambassadors abroad. They can also provide market intelligence to the government of Ghana to see where can we help Ghanaian businesses to do well. And that is what we need to do. These things are not coming. And when the financial sector cleaning came, we succeeded in exterminating the local banks. Now all these profits are going to the Nigerian, South African banks.
Now this 24-hour thing, economic thing, it's still debatable. You know, the people are still debating it.
Yes.
He has come to profile some further explanations, but I think that it still hasn't resonated well. Maybe to those within his thing, fine, but the other side is also saying, no, this has been there. Blah, 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 all those things. When we say a 24-hour economy, just in 1 minute, what should we be looking out for to make us successful if we want to operate a 24-hour economy in our country?
24-hour economy cannot work in us. And of course, already some businesses are operating 24/7. And 24/7 are not necessarily a political decision, but economic, it's a kind of demand and supply. For example, if you are a company and you get more demand, you will not need to run from 8 to 5 p.m. You want to run overtime to be able to produce. So you can still have 24-hour economy when you are not having enough demand on your goods and services. It may not be profitable for you. You may still have to come back to the 8-hour or the 10-hour economy. And so if we want to have 24-hour economy, the other things that we need to do, and some of these things can be done consciously. So look, now we are going 24-hour economy. Government is providing A, B, C, and D. The police will be running all this fire service. If you submit your passport,
the ambulances, everything.
If it was passport office, people go there 24/7. And gradually, when you have a problem, you can still call overnight and then you can get support. So it requires a lot of synergies from other sectors. But I think it's still an interesting conversation
to have.
To see in the course of the year.
Absolutely. Okay, this one says, I agree with Mr. Adumaku. We have to concentrate on the market approach and gradual phasing out of import restrictions. This one's from Ken in Asylum Down. This one says, your guest is so on point. We need to strategically implement these policies. My name is Steve in Kotobabi. And this one says, I would like to find out from your guest what he thinks about the electric vehicle policy and the move to phase out cars that run on fossil fuel. My name is Azuma in Takrade.
Electric
EVs.
Is in the long run, we want to get to electric vehicle. And government has started with new taxes on SUVs to pay money. And as to whether those money will be used to do research to enhance the local capacities, I would say the answer is no. Because in Ghana, we've been collecting a lot of levies. The road fund, when you go there, it's empty. Meanwhile, when you buy gas, there's a 50 pesos per liter. And so this is still going to be another opportunity for government to make money from you and I without necessarily putting them to the required space. I think for the first time, government should be truthful to Ghanaians and let Ghanaians know that, look, this money that we are using, we are going to invest them in research with our academic institutions, so that gradually Ghana can find its place within in the EV industry. We have this product, I mean the lithium.
Yes.
And all this research that we do can enhance the lithium
Absolutely.
to the extent that within the supply chain, Ghana can find itself not only producing the raw materials, but coming to produce the final product, whereby we will not need to import lithium batteries into the country, pay insurance and CIF, and also go and get forest. At least if we can invest in our institutions here, we can turn our raw lithium into the final product. When we do that, there will be no pressure on the city. That is the conversation that we need to see from our leaders.
Right. Awesome. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Apia Kusi-Adomako, who is the West Africa Regional Director, CAS International Accra. Tonight we've been taking a look at 2023 in retrospect and the prospects for 2024, and we've taken some perspectives from CAS International Accra. Indeed, we'd like to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Iron Port here on Metro Television. Indeed, my name is Kennedy Mona. We thank you so much for being a part from the start to the finish, and to all those that called in and sent messages, we are deeply grateful to you. Thank you for being ardent and loyal viewers. Next week we shall see you again, God willing. Please keep watching the rest of our programs, and remember to make a date on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. watch the update version on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. Thanks for watching and have a super evening.